it is our proud privilege that under the dynamic leadership of Mr. Kamlesh Shah, the President ANMI, we did the first physical seminar in the GIFT City itself on 29th when the Prime Minister inaugurated. And today, not only that, it was only on his initiative that we were able to submit 115 letters of intent also, and many more queries are coming that people are willing to become the members of the GIFT City. Today, we have the privilege that IFSC Executive Director, the Chairperson, the Office Bearer of GIFT City, and the senior executives of all the 3 exchanges there will be deliberating with the members. We are hopeful that we have got a good response and good numbers of members will participate. I will only say that, yes, there are ample opportunities for the members. Many new products are likely to be there in these 3 exchanges. SGX Nifty will get more popular there when the volumes will increase, many more members will come. Similarly, for the IIBX also, a lot of queries are coming that people want to become the members of the bullion exchange. So, for the welcome address, I request Mr. Kamlesh Shah, the dynamic president of ANMI and a very senior member of the fraternity, for the welcome address. Over to you, Mr. Kamlesh Shah.
Thank you, Sabharwal ji, for your nice words. Good evening. On behalf of ANMI and CPAI, we welcome Shri Dipesh Shah and elite panel members, my dear members and invited guests. Celebration of Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years of independence. A new vision and vigor is seen across country. I have never seen India so confident and inspiring to the entire world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid out resolve to build stronger and aspirational India with pledge to make India a developed country in 25 years of centenary celebration. The Prime Minister's emphasis was on Nari Shakti, the end of Gulami culture and corruption. Certainly, next 25 years belongs to India. GIFT City was also vision of our Prime Minister. On 29 July, Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated India International Bullion Exchange, SGX Connect, and laying foundation stone for new building for IFSCA. In addition, many new initiatives were also announced and few MOU were also signed with international exchanges. IFSC at GIFT City will open gateway to global capital and financial market. With launch of Bullion Exchange and SGX Connect, GIFT City is getting ready to compete with the Dubai and Singapore. It's a dream project of Prime Minister to enable India as a price setter in few of the top financial products. With setup of IIBX, India being second largest importer of gold, India may emerge as a price setter. NSE is world's largest derivative exchange. With Nifty as a prime index, homecoming of SGX Nifty will open up doors to international institutions and investors. As the name suggests, GIFT City is in true sense gift to the brokers in IFSCA with host of concessions like exemption of STT, CTT, stamp duty, GST and income tax benefits. With the new regulator IFSCA at GIFT City, combining powers of SEBI, RBI, IRDA and PFRDA, we are ready to match global financial market. Trading at IFSCA starts at opening of market in Japan and ends with close of US market, giving 22 hours of live trading opportunities with the support of central government and world-class infrastructure and the visionary regulator. We can expect many new products available for trading in the global market. This initiative will make India financial hub for Southeast Asia. Today's webinar is focused on onboarding members. Panel members will explain how easy it is to onboard your company at GIFT City. We shall handhold all the members and fast-track application for membership of the exchange at GIFT City. We shall also ensure that the cost of operation remains nominal, with novel ideas like providing cubicles or table space to all the members to restrict their cost of establishment. With these words and a big thank you for your trust and support, I hand over proceedings to our moderator for the evening, Mr. Sabharwal ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamlesh bhai. Though the time allotted to you was 5 minutes, you in 3 minutes had almost spoken everything. And now I am for the welcome address. I am requesting Mr. D.K. Aggarwal, the past president of CPAI and the past president of the PhD chamber also, a very dynamic financial professional of the country who had been into the various committees of the government also. And one more thing, that when our actual seminar was taking place on 29th, he was the only person who put up the maximum questions to the speakers. His company is already active there in all the 3 exchanges there. Over to you, Mr. D.K. Aggarwal. DKD, you are on mute.
Yeah, thank you, Sabharwal, for these nice words. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of ANMI and CPAI, I extend a very warm welcome to our chief guest, Shri Dipesh Shah ji, Executive Director, IFSC Authority, Shri Sandip Shah, Head Department, GIFT City, Shri Sandip Mehta, CEO, NSE IFSC, Shri Nikhil Mehta, Chief Regulatory Officer and Company Secretary, India INX, Shri Neeraj Gupta, CTO, IIBX, our dynamic president, Shri Kamlesh Shah, President ANMI, Mr. Narendra Wadhwaji, President CPAI, Shri B.K. Sabharwal, past President CPAI, Shri Shiv Kumar Goel, Director Bonanza Portfolio Limited, other distinguished guests, and other participants. As Kamlesh Shahji rightly pointed out, our Prime Minister has set a vision of making India a developed country by 2047. As we all know, that to make any country a developed country, its financial services sector has to be developed. And what best can be the foresight of our Prime Minister, who already had a vision that to make India a developed country, we would need to make India also a international financial services center. And I think this is why, while he was in Gujarat as Chief Minister, from that time, he decided to set up GIFT City as the International Financial Services Center. And I think no better focus could have come from anybody than our own Prime Minister. And the very fact that on 29th of July, when our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji inaugurated the launching of IIBX, the India International Bullion Exchange, and also the official building of our regulator, IFSCA, IFSC Authority, which is the first unified regulator of India. And also, that time the SGX Connect was also launched. So these 3 things put together has brought a lot of vibrancy to GIFT City. And friends, as Sabharwal ji pointed out, 115 LOIs were submitted that time, at the time of inauguration by the Prime Minister, where our members had desired to become the member of various GIFT City exchanges, NSE, IFSC, India INX, and IIBX. And today we were talking to Sabharwal ji in a briefing, and Sabharwal ji told that in next 3 months, he also target another 115 members to become the member of GIFT City. That shows the enthusiasm, and why not? Because GIFT City, as Kamlesh Shah ji has also pointed out, it has certain opportunities, certain advantages, which are really very, very attractive. Just to name a few, investment here, everything will be traded in dollars. So like there are other international financial services center, we know Dubai is there, London is there, Singapore is there. So here again in India, we will have everything being traded in terms of dollars. So people who want to diversify their investment, who want to keep money in dollar terms, that is a heaven for them. Again, how Indian investors can take exposure in international exchanges, in US stocks or stocks listed in other exchanges. So our 2 exchanges, NSE, IFSC, they have come out with a platform where one can take exposure to US stocks. They have started with 8, going to extend to 50 stocks, and going forward, what exchange says, we would, even with these 8 stocks, the 50% of the US market cap is already there. So imagine when it is 50, and again, when the list extends, so we would have the entire world exposure we can take through this exchange. Similarly, the global access platform provided by the India INX, which is promoted by Bombay Stock Exchange, it is another, it connects 150 exchanges of the world, 31 countries of the world. So, it opens up huge opportunities for the brokers, because right now it is not only Indian stocks or Indian commodities, it is the world stocks and world commodities or world instruments which will be available for us. And another thing is that, we require 3P, the participants, the products, and the policies. So we have foreign participants, we have NRIs, we have Indian participants through their LRS scheme. Then in terms of products, like currently a few contracts are listed, but the wish list is very big. Going forward, we'll see almost everything being listed here. So, and third thing, the policies. Everybody will vouch that we have a unified regulator. So a lot of hardships which are faced because of multiple regulations, multiple regulators, I think those things will go away. And the kind of business development intentions which have been demonstrated by IFSC authority is really commendable. Our Dipesh Shah ji is always available, always helpful. And I can tell you, he's the best regulator. And we are very happy that even today's seminar, that has been organized on his behalf. The hand-holding of the members, these 115 members, they do not face any problem when they get registered with the various exchanges and with the regulator in GIFT City. He wants everything to be, the hassle should not be there. Everything should be systematic. There should be a hand-holding of the members. And that is why on his behalf, I would like to even congratulate ANMI and CPAI for organizing this. And that shows the kind of work being done by these 2 organizations. Another advantage, though I know the time is short, but because these are very important, the brokers, they can trade on their pro account. Through GIFT City membership, you can trade in all the exchanges. You can, even in IIBX, the India International Bullion Exchange, Indians are allowed to import through GIFT City Exchange, this IIBX. But the brokers, the members of IIBX, they can buy and sell gold. without any limit. I think that is a big development. And once we realize how beneficial it is going to be, I'm sure we'll see huge opportunity here. Then I would also like to tell that not only these exchanges, the fund managers, the alternate investment funds, number of applications, more than 100 applications have been filed for EIFs, for PMS. And the advantage here is if you are registered as a category 3 EIF, you are allowed leverage. You can be listed as you can be registered as a FPI in Indian market, and you can trade as a FPI in Indian market. I think that is another opportunity which a lot of people, when they would realize this is an excellent opportunity. And as our Prime Minister has already said, this is going to be a gateway for foreign investment into India. A lot of billions of dollars have been raised by Indian companies, by Indian banks, and the instrument, the NCDs, they have been listed in GIFT City exchanges. Then Kamlesh has already pointed out no CTT, no STT, no stamp duty, no income tax, no GST. I think that is what one can dream of. Then SGX Nifty, which is one of the most, that Nifty, which is one of the most traded instrument in India. And you'll be surprised to know that the open interest as well as the volume of trading was higher in SGX, where it is also listed. But within next 6 months, what I understand, the matching engine of all those Nifty will also happen here. So once that happens, you know, for brokers, that is going to be a huge opportunity. We'll have a lot of foreign clients trading through us. It will generate a lot of brokerage. So again, that is a good opportunity and low cost of operations. If you are in Dubai, if you are in Singapore, you know what is the cost of operating. But here the cost is going to be very, very low. With this, I complete here. I welcome all the dignitaries, all the participants again. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Dr. D.K. Aggarwal. I am able to see on the screen that our Honorable Chairman is already there with us. Now, straight away, I will request Mr. Injiti Srinivas, the Honorable Chairman, though he doesn't require any introduction for the financial market intermediaries because people know him when he was even the Secretary Corporate Affairs here in Delhi. But yes, he is a 1983 batch of IAS Odisha cadre. He retired after 37 years of service in May 2020 and became the first chairperson of the newly established International Financial Service Center Authority on 9th of July 2020. He is currently also the member of the Financial Stability and Development Council, FSDC, and its subcommittee. Though I have a very lengthier biodata of him, I am not reading all those things. Straight away handing over to Mr. Injiti Srinivas for his guidance to our members. We have, before you came, sir, we have assured that not only these 115, but in 3 months' time, we will try to take this figure of the membership to 150. And our dynamic president, Mr. Kamlesh Shah, feels that by the end of this financial year, we should have 200 new members. Over to you, Honorable Mr. Injiti Srinivas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sabharwal, for your kind introduction. I'm very happy that ANMI and CPAI have taken this laudable initiative to have this interactive session with the broking firms who have expressed their interest to set up business in the GIFT IFSC. I think before Mr. Sabharwal came in, the previous speaker, Mr. Aggarwal, gave a very, very elaborate bird's eye view of what are the business opportunities GIFT IFSC offers. So I'm happy that now more and more market intermediaries and players in the financial market are able to gauge the type of business opportunities which GIFT IFSC can generate, which will not only be very profitable and lucrative for them, for their respective business activities, but will also go a long way in achieving India's ambition of becoming a 5 trillion economy and achieving Atmanirbhar Bharat in the area of international financial services. So I would just take a few minutes to share my vision of the IFSC in the medium to long term and also in the short term, and how I visualize this emerging as a leading international financial center at the global level also, maybe in the next 10 years or so. In fact, our vision is to see IFSC in the foreseeable future as a leading international financial services center, which, apart from catering to the requirements of our own country, will also be able to export international financial services within the region and even at the global level. So this is the broad vision we are looking at for the IFSC. There are many unique features when it comes to the IFSCA and the IFSC. The most important feature which we all need to take cognizance of is that it is an international financial jurisdiction distinct from the domestic financial jurisdiction. This is a most important point we'll have to understand. You will see that, for example, many notifications of Government of India, for example, there is one notification of Government of India which talks about permissible jurisdictions where our GDRs, etc., can be listed. I think there are 8 jurisdictions, and the 8th jurisdiction is GIFT IFSC. That means even we are treating it as a international financial jurisdiction, distinct from the domestic financial jurisdiction. IFSCA has become a member of the IFSCA and recently has also become a signatory to the MMOU, which again establishes that it is a separate financial jurisdiction within India and it has its own identity. The second important characteristic is that we are the only unified regulator in the country, unified financial regulator. In the domestic area, you have 4 different regulators with clearly earmarked domain areas. Here you have one unified financial regulator which is responsible for all the 4 segments within the financial sector. Third, it is a highly empowered body in the sense that under the IFSCA Act, it has the twin mandate of development and regulation of international financial services in IFSCs set up in the country. Today, we have only one IFSC. Therefore, whatever I'm saying is confined to the GIFT IFSC only. But if we were to have more IFSCs in the future, the same authority will have remit over those IFSCs as well. So it derives its power not only from the IFSCA Act, but from 15 different central acts. So let us say, for example, FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act. So Foreign Exchange Management Act controls the current account and capital account movement of currency. And in India, you are aware that there are restrictions on conversion of INR into foreign exchange. But when it comes to the IFSC, it is a non-INR zone. So in fact, unless you are specially permitted to transact in INR through a special dispensation, you can only deal with freely convertible foreign currency. So in the GIFT IFSC, the capital account convertibility restrictions are not applicable. So it is a freely convertible zone. This is another very important feature that normally what would have happened, suppose you had a export oriented unit, you have a unit in the SEZ, you export and you earn foreign exchange. Then how that foreign exchange earnings of yours will be regulated is determined by a set of regulations notified by the RBI. That beyond these many days, you can't then keep it like foreign exchange. You'll have to convert it into the domestic, into the INR. Or for what purposes this foreign exchange can be utilized. Now, those restrictions are not applicable once you set up an entity here. And the good thing is that in many areas, of course, not in broking, but in many areas, even if you set up a branch, de facto, you are getting the treatment of a separate legal entity and you're getting all the benefits which, are there. For a broking firm, SEBI has directed that it is necessary to ring fence the risks. Therefore, a broker will have to participate only in the form of a separate entity, that means a subsidiary, and not as a branch. So that limitation is there. I'm happy that notwithstanding, those requirements, more than 100 brokers have given their letter of intent to set up or incorporate entities in the IFSC. So these are some of the unique features which make IFSC a very, very attractive destination. Now let us compare how this IFSC is positioned when we look at other alternative jurisdictions. We have other offshore jurisdictions like Dubai is there, Singapore is there, Hong Kong is there. These are very popular jurisdictions. And you have the large jurisdictions like New York and London, which have been there for dominant for, more than 100 years. Unlike Dubai or Singapore, the IFSC here has a very large hinterland. Like Shanghai has a very large hinterland. Like Hong Kong has a very large hinterland. To transact with the domestic China, by and large, you have to come through Hong Kong. So, in order to transact with the domestic area in India, in many areas, it becomes very, very beneficial to use the GIFT IFSC as the gateway to transact with the domestic area. Also, when our own firms are becoming very large and are having a global footprint, you are going and setting up, entities outside. This is as good as setting up an entity outside because it is treated as a non-resident entity. And those limitations are not there. Many times, Indian entities have been setting up subsidiaries or their holding company in Singapore or other places, because there are restrictions in terms of capital account convertibility, etc. So if you want to list your shares, etc., then these issues of liquidity getting fragmented, these problems are coming. Whereas if you do it in Singapore, now if you do it in GIFT also, because it will be a dollar denominated share security or a foreign currency denominated security, there is no splitting of the liquidity. It can be transmitted across regions. Right now, an Indian share cannot be transmitted outside India. For that, you have GDR and ADR. But here, that problem is not there. In fact, the number of products, etc., will grow hugely the moment Government of India will notify the rules for listed as well as unlisted companies to list their shares in international exchanges, including the GIFT IFSC. We feel that this will happen sooner than later. There has been some issue for which this matter has, got somewhat delayed. But I think it is certainly going to happen in the near future, because that is the way Indian companies can raise capital from outside. Now, let us see in what ways, I'm not confining my address to only broking activity or stock exchange activity, because you have a much larger worldview. You need not confine yourself only to a stock exchange or a bullion exchange. We need to get the big picture. So let me tell you one thing. In India, for large corporates, there is no problem to access capital. Foreign capital. They are able to get foreign capital at competitive rates. But there is a problem for smaller entities, especially MSMEs, to access international capital. Okay. They also have problems in maybe raising bonds. Okay. But those problems and problems in raising trade finance, bill discounting, international bill discounting, those problems are getting addressed in the IFSC. Recently, we called for applications for introducing international trade facilitation system. So it is like the trades we are having in domestic area, where MSMEs can use the trades platform for bill discounting. Similarly, we have created a marketplace. We have licensed creation of a marketplace that for exporters and importers also, you will have this platform where the financiers can come, the MSMEs can come with their bills which they want to get discounted, and the different banks, their bank and the bank of the importer, exporter, they all can be on the platform, and you will have a foolproof technology platform for speedily doing this bill discounting and getting liquidity. There are many other such initiatives which have been taken. For example, ECB. Small ticket ECB is a very big problem. Somebody wants 50 lakhs or somebody wants 25 lakhs or 1 crore ECB. It's very difficult to get that from the international, from the offshore centers. Now, some banks are specializing in catering to the need of small MSMEs, small ticket ECBs. There are also funds which are coming up. Now, you need sustainable finance, you need finance for aircraft leasing, you need, something like bond. I'll tell you, there is a proposal where a fund wants to be set, the fund manager, managing entity wants to set up a fund which will basically give credit to MSMEs and that make units against that portfolio, and that units will be traded. So in a way, it is like a innovative bond for the MSMEs. It is like a bond, because here this intermediary is coming, giving credit, and against that cash flow, is now creating these units, and the units are being traded. So liquidity will also be there. In the case of bullion exchange, we know this is a very big initiative, but it will sort of roll out in phases. In the first phase, we are looking basically that more and more gold will get imported through this exchange. Right now, most of the gold which is imported into the country is imported through the consignment model. We expect that instead of consignment model, now that we have allowed disintermediation and allowed qualified jewelers to directly access the exchange, and RBI has also allowed them to make advance payment in foreign exchange, which is a very big thing. Many of these jewelers now, they have got, or they're getting onboarded as limited participation trading members. That means they cannot onboard any client, but they themselves can come and purchase a bullion depository receipt so that they can extinguish it and the gold can be imported. So to start with, what will happen is only buy will be activated for the qualified jeweler, and for the supplier, only sell will be activated when it comes to transacting with the domestic area. On the international side, both buy and sell can be activated. There's no problem. There is no limit because our foreign exchange is not coming into play. Our foreign exchange cannot be used for speculation or for trading activity, margin, derivative. There are restrictions in any case. So this is another example I am telling you that in stage 1, this will happen. In stage 2, now even in stage 1, when this happens, typically the benefit is the Indian, qualified jeweler, they will save a lot of money on the cost of the bullion. If you look at it, those figures I don't want to say, but there is a significant cost advantage because there are lesser intermediaries in between. So we hope that in due course, we'll also allow Ministry of Commerce, we have taken it up with them, we'll also allow export of coins, export of, bullion bars. They can be, these 100-gram bullion bars, coins, etc. That means our refineries, which are LBMA accredited, high quality refineries, can, during our lean season, they can make bullion bars, coins, etc. And we have so many diaspora, Indian diaspora is, there is a lot of attachment to gold. It has cultural value, religious value. Prime Minister was mentioning that, in his, and he was also saying that we should not be seen only as a market, but as a market maker. So these are also some of the things which we are envisaging to happen in the medium term. Even gold lease. This is again another area, gold lease. Gold lease also we hope that, we'll be able to roll it out very soon. So this will be very beneficial. The connects like the SGX Connect, you also mentioned, now on options, because our brokers are very good at options, you can deepen the options market. Now they are mainly trading in the futures, but maybe the options. Apart from Nifty, other products also can come. And one good advantage is, you see, some people are criticizing that what is happening, everything is taking place in Singapore. What is happening? Nothing is happening. Only things are getting matched here, but the settlement is taking place in Singapore. That is a wrong assessment. That will only happen if there is no trading happening from GIFT side. If trading is happening from GIFT side, then depending upon the net settlement, if the settlement has to be done here, then the settlement will be done here. If trading is happening, both buy and sell are happening only in Singapore side, and merely the reporting is done at the back end, and that matching or whatever is done at back end, then it will be it will not give any added benefits to us. But what I'm saying, when there is an average daily trade of 3 billion, 3.46 billion, and overnight open interest of 7+ billion. It is throwing up a lot of liquidity is there. That means availability is there, liquidity is there. And like when your delegation met me last time, you said that we should do settlement here. So as I mentioned then, I repeat that we are working closely with RBI, and we are very hopeful that in the near future, you will have RTGS settlement of dollar. So instantaneous settlement of dollar. That will be a big advantage. That can again be a game changer. I am hopeful that this will happen sooner than later, and it will benefit everybody. It will benefit the nation also. Then again, niche areas are also opportunities are coming up. Offshore derivative instruments, those things like participatory notes, etc., which is now concentrated in few offshore jurisdictions. That business also can come here. NRIs can find this as a very attractive gateway to transact with the domestic area. We are already taking up with government regarding some liberalization, some special dispensation for FPIs, which come through the GIFT IFSC. Let us see how that unfolds, because NRIs have an important role for development of India. So if their money can be utilized, and there are no restrictions like that, then that will also give a big boost to the NRI money which is coming into our capital market. That is also there. So I would say that all these advantages are there. Forex is another product. Forex also on the SGX. Forex also can be done. Those products also, I'm sure they will now develop those products. INX it is there, but on the NSE, IFSC, and on this SGX Connect also, I think this Forex products also can be there. That will also be very beneficial. So I think I'll stop here. There are many opportunities, and once the demand is generated with so many entities coming, I think more and more opportunities will come. For example, I don't know why so much demand has not caught on, but the unsponsored deposit receipts for the American stock. It's quite a unique product which has been developed, and it is there with NSE. But maybe, I don't know, some ease of transaction or something, some problem seems to be there. But there is a huge potential. On ETFs also, there is a huge potential now. So exchange traded funds, etc. So I think there are enough opportunities, and I have already instructed my team here that we will facilitate all these companies, brokers who want to incorporate a company here in IFSC, so that in a very streamlined manner, in the shortest possible time, they can get incorporated and get necessary license, etc., and can start operating. From here, you can also have global access. So those possibilities also will open up. You see, everything is like a demand supply. Once, sometimes you say that there is no supply, so no demand. You see, once entities come, then supply also will start coming, because global players will see that, okay, so many brokers are there, and many of them are prominent brokers. So why don't we now look at this more intently? All this will happen. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Nitish Srinivas. In your 26-minute deliberation, you almost spoke of everything, not only for the broken community, but you talked about the SME access to the international markets, the opportunities which can be in Forex, in ETFs, and I am sure that whatever you have spoken today, the recorded message of that will be sending it to almost all the members on behalf of the President ANMI, Mr. Kamlesh Shah, and the President CPAI, Mr. Narendra Wadhwa. We promise you that not only we will ensure that more and more people become members, we will also ensure that we will be putting some more educative seminars and webinars for our members under your guidance. I will just like to take this opportunity to request you that today morning only with Mr. D.K. Aggarwal, we have decided to have a PhD and ANMI CPAI together convention where we have thought of the subject is India becoming a developed nation by 2047, what Prime Minister spoke yesterday, the role of financial markets. So we will request you to come as a speaker or as a guest of honor. There also, Mr. Pankaj Chaudhary already has consented there that he will be a part of that. So to promote this gift also, we will request you to be a part. And last but not the least, jokingly, two of my members have WhatsApped me that is it Mr. Njiti Srinivas only? He doesn't look like a 61-year-old person from this photograph. So one more compliment to you. And again, assuring you on behalf of the intermediaries that we will leave no stone unturned for the Prime Minister dream and your vision also to see that it becomes successful. Thanks a lot, sir, for sparing such.
Thank you. So I'll pass on to you, Dipesh. Right.
And now I will request Mr. Dipesh Shah, the Executive Director of the Development Business of IFSCA. He also doesn't require any introduction to the members, but I will just say that he was instrumental in setting up the operationalizing India's first smart city. He was also instrumental in bringing the regulatory and business changes in the GIFT IFSC to bring in banks, international exchanges, and insurance and reinsurance companies for undertaking offshore transactions. Over to you, Mr. Dipesh Shah.
Thank you, Sabharwal ji, and thank you, ANMI and CPAI for holding this very important webinar today on the steps involved to operationalize in the IFSC zone. I will not be taking much time as our chairman has already given a comprehensive outlook on what the IFSC is doing. It was also in the opening remarks, the president of ANMI and Sri D.K. Aggarwal has given a comprehensive outline on the benefits. So I'll just cover in 2 days that the IFSC authority, we are here to facilitate the entry of the broking firm. We consider that the financial services entities are very important and key for the success of the financial zone. And we are giving equal importance to the financial services entities as we are giving to any foreign bank or to a foreign insurance firm. On the similar line, we consider that your presence will really help to develop the ecosystem in a much rapid and faster way. And thereby, it is our endeavor that whatever the support that the ANMI members and the CPAI members require to set up in the IFSC zone as a regulator, playing the role of development and the regulations will ensure that you will have no problem in getting started in the IFSC zone. Today's webinar is a testimony to our commitment that we will be handholding the entire process. You will have the complete details of the contact persons at all levels, including at the IFSC authority, as to where your application is and how it is moving and how you will be able to operationalize in a record time. We consider this as a challenge as an IFFC authority with all the stakeholders involved, which is GIFT company, ANMI, CPAI, the domestic regulators, the SEZ authorities, all put together. If we can bring out an SOP and if we can operationalize this 115 LOIs received in a record time, this will be a testimony of the future growth of the IFFC zone. So we consider this as a key factor for us to demonstrate that it is possible to set up in the IFFC zone in a record time and take all the approvals. With this, I will not be taking much of your time. I'll hand over to the other speakers who will be giving the details in how you are going to set up. We remain available at all the times to the ANMI and CPAI members to get them operational in the IFFC zone. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Dipesh. Thanks not only for ensuring that we have this webinar, but also thanks for ensuring that the chairman is also available to us in this particular webinar. And now I call upon Mr. Sandip Shah, Head of IFSC, Department of Gujarat International Finance Tech City Company Limited, GIFT City. I have a very long biodata of him, but I will just say that he was instrumental in bringing domestic and international financial institution in GIFT City. And now he will ensure that we members also what are the all hiccups as we were discussing in the afternoon, that if that is over early, so that more and more number of people become the member. Over to you, Mr. Sandip Shah.
Thank you. And at the outset, I would like to congratulate and thank the CPI and ANMI basically for becoming a partner for the development of India's maiden International Financial Services Center. I'm sure many of the members have already visited GIFT City and you all are aware about the various opportunities available. But I'll take this opportunity to run through a couple of slides basically, which will talk about the recent developments more from the infrastructure perspective. And then because now when we are looking at setting up your office at GIFT City, it is very important that you understand the process involved in terms of the space required, in terms of the approvals required to obtain to be a part of the overall development at IFSC. So I'll run quickly for the benefits of the new members. I'll just run through the initial slides which talk about the GIFT City and the overall developments. As you all may be aware, the idea is to develop a global financial and IT services hub, and that's how Government of Gujarat and Government of India are taking required steps and initiatives to develop the required infrastructure facilities as well as the regulatory and tax framework to ensure that India develops its own international financial center at par with other leading global financial centers. From the geographical location, it is closer to the Ahmedabad International and Domestic Airport and much closer to the Gandhinagar, which is the state capital. The good part is the GIFT City is basically divided into two parts, the domestic zone and the international zone. And many of the brokers, present today on this webinar, they also have an office in the domestic zone as well. As you all are aware, Government of Gujarat provides various incentives even in the domestic zone of the city for the capital market intermediaries, and we have seen many large capital market intermediaries present in the domestic zone as well. It's a greenfield smart city project, and that's how we could actually experiment in some of the infrastructure facilities that we have developed in this city. And I'm sure it will give you a different experience when you operate from the city. It's an integrated city development project. So, apart from commercial, it also has residential and social facilities as a overall development plan. The international school, there is a business club, the 5-star hotel, those are all already part of the overall development and they are functional today in the city. Some of the developments in the domestic zone of the city, these are the commercial buildings already present. The Brokers Forum building is also coming up. I'm sure many of you have also taken space in the in this building, which is going to be inaugurated very soon, and it's about to be operational very shortly. From the international zone perspective, all the IFSC activities which we are discussing today, and the banks and the insurance companies, the 2 international exchanges which are already operating today, those are operating from these 3 commercial towers. These are more than 1.2 million square feet of commercial development, which is fully functional today. Now, I think I would like to spend some more time here, because the first step when you start or when you decide to be a part of GIFT City, you will have to incorporate a separate entity to become a capital market intermediary in GIFT City, and that would require you to obtain office address in GIFT City. So what we are doing right now, and to facilitate all the brokers, the provisional letter of allotment would be provided basically in GIFT City. So while the space, you may coordinate with all the 3 developers which are available, and we will share. We are going to prepare a handbook which will give you the entire details or the steps involved to set up a broking entity. One of the developer is also creating a co-working space, which is Pragya Accelerator. The Pragya Sevi Tower is already developed and which is fully functional, and the same developer is also creating a co-working space just outside the tower, and which is going to be a 25,000 square feet of area. Somebody who is looking to set up entity can obtain the provisional letter of allotment, basically, which will be of a co-working space. More such buildings are also under construction. So probably, the again, Pragya, even Brigade, there are other 3-4 developers who are creating their own commercial building, which will be fully functional in next 2 to 3 years. However, to accommodate the requirements of the mainly capital market intermediaries, which we feel can start with, say, 500 square feet to 1,000 square feet of office space with 4 to 5 people's sitting capacity. To accommodate that, the co-working space is being developed. Some photographs, virtual images, 3D view of the co-working space which is being created, where the lock and key, plug and play facilities would be provided. And these facilities will ensure that you can immediately start the operations as a capital market intermediary in IFSC. And gradually, when you expand your businesses, you can move to the larger office spaces which are being created by the various developers within GIFT SEC. As I mentioned, various developers are creating their office space. So the names on the screen which have already taken space from GIFT City and are going to create their commercial tower. So more than 2 million square feet of space is coming up by the various private developers, and they already started the work in terms of the designing the building, and many of them have also started the construction on ground. The social facilities, basically, as I mentioned, these are also functional. So when you are setting up a office here and looking to, probably next 2 years, the residentials are also going to be developed. So idea is to provide walk-to-work concept, and that's how close to 1,000 apartments are under construction, and many of these residentials are also going to be a part of the SEZ zone as well, the international zone. So the entities may like to take the advantage of some of these benefits. From the perspective of the social infrastructure, some of the recent developments where the Gujarat Maritime University is also coming up. DMart is setting up their supermarket. Lilavati Hospital is coming up with their multi-speciality hospital. We are also planning to have international school now. GIFT City is working with Asian Development Bank to create International FinTech Institute within GIFT City, so which will ensure that the right kind of talent is also available for the financial services activities. From the IFSC perspective, and that's where I think the exchanges will discuss more in detail about the process involved to become the member on the IFSC exchanges. But as Chairman Sir and Dipesh Sir rightly mentioned, the IFSC provides various business opportunities in the capital market space. It allows you to become a portfolio manager. It allows you to become investment advisor. A capital market intermediary can also, become a finance company. So NBFC is something which is again a major opportunity in IFSC, where NBFC can provide margin funding to the broking community within IFSC, and that's how you can also look at some of these opportunities available based on the regulation issued by the IFSC authority. Asset management, again, the fund management, the broking entity can also look at becoming a fund manager entity, basically to manage the offshore fund. And many of the existing capital market intermediaries, they have started taking the advantage of some of these opportunities. I'm sure you are all aware about the tax incentives available in terms of the activities that you carry out. So all the business income will enjoy 10 years of income tax holiday when you set up your unit in IFSC. And capital market intermediary, I'm sure exchanges will discuss more in details about the available products on the platform. But the advantage of no short-term and long-term capital gain tax and the exemption from STT and CTT will play a very important role to reduce your transaction costs when you trade on the IFSC exchange platform. Just to, I think, highlight the space perspective now, basically. So the first step is we will go more in detail. You would require no objection certificate from the market infrastructure institutions in domestic area, as well as from the regulator in the domestic zone, SEBI, basically. And post that, when you start the process for setting up the subsidiary company in GIFT City, you would require provisional letter of allotment. And that's where some of these facilities would be useful. The co-working space being created can be the immediate start for all of you to coordinate with the developer and identify the required space. What we have been told by the developer that this is going to be a kind of a plug and play facilities which is being created, and it's going to be operational from the 1st of October, from where you can take 4-seater or 6-seater or 8-seater depending on your requirements. And it will have common meeting room facilities as well as common housekeeping and security services. This can be a starting point, basically, to commence the application process with the different authorities. And once you obtain the approval, you can start operating from this premises. And as I mentioned, many such other developers are also coming up with their own commercial buildings. You can then gradually move to the office spaces depending on your business requirements. We will also, as I mentioned, come out with a ready handbook, which will help you to complete the entire process, basically, for setting up your subsidiary company in IFSC. And more than 50 such capital market intermediaries are already operating today in the zone and are actively trading on the IFSC platform. So I think with this, I'll end my presentation and we'll be happy to discuss more in detail going forward. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Sandip Shah. You really gave insights. The maximum number of questions which members were asking, automatically the reply has come from you. The handbook, what you have mentioned, will come a long way for the members to join here. And now I will request Mr. Sandip Mehta, Chief Executive Officer of NSE IFSC, who has been associated with exchange right from the inception in 2016. Over to you, Mr. Sandip Mehta.
Thank you, Mr. Sabharwal ji. Can I have the slides, please?
Yeah, please.
Okay, till the slides come up. Thank you, ANMI and CPAI, for organizing this so that we can have conversations with the members. In terms of the products and the opportunities, Chairman Sir, Dipesh Shah, and the other dignitaries have outlined the benefits and the opportunities within IFSC. So I will straight away dive into the membership process, and this is true for in terms of the slides If somebody can open the slides, please. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so I'll straight away dive into the membership process and the membership categories. So most of the members would be familiar with the membership categories, which is similar to the domestic exchange at NSE. So four categories of members. One is the trading members, trading come self-clearing member, trading come clearing member, and the professional clearing member. So all these four types of membership are on offer, and members would be familiar with this particular structure. So the same structure is replicated out at NSE IFSC. Next slide, please. So coming to the main process, so it's a basically a four-step process. If you look at broadly, it is a four-step process in terms of first is opening the NOC, the parent entity, promoting the gift company shall have to obtain the NOCs. Second step is setting up an entity and the SEZ approval. The third step is obtaining membership registration. And the last step will be the enablement on the trading system on fulfilling the enablement conditions. So let me take you through each one of the steps. So first is NOC. Basically, NOC has to be obtained. NOC has to be obtained first is from IFSC authority, and this to obtain the IFSC authority NOC, you will have to apply to the exchanges in GIFT. One of the exchanges you can apply, and through the exchange, the NOC shall be obtained from IFSC authority. This is mainly required to open the bank accounts within IFSC. The second NOC that is required is from the domestic exchanges and followed by SEBI. So this is required for setting up the wholly owned subsidiary and infusion of capital as per the FEMA guidelines required by RBI. The second step is in terms of the setting up the entity and GIFT SEZ. In this, Sandip Shah had explained the requirement of obtaining the provisional letter of allotment and letter of allotment from a developer so that you can register an entity within GIFT with a GIFT address. And based on that, after once the entity is set up, the next is, of course, opening the bank account within IFSC banking unit and obtaining approval from the development commissioner, Kandla SEZ. This falls under the jurisdiction of Kandla SEZ. So that is the approval for SEZ unit, setting up a SEZ unit, identifying so that the entity gets all the benefits of an IFSC unit, including all outlined tax benefits and so on. So that is so step one and step two can both go parallelly. So it is not required that you do one and then you do two. Both of them can go parallelly so that speeden up the entire process. Coming once step one, step two is done, then is required is to obtain the membership or register the membership. So the entity which is set up in GIFT will apply to exchanges within GIFT IFSC and to obtain membership registration. So based on the due diligence performed by the stock exchange, the stock exchange shall issue a provisional membership letter which is subject to IFSCA approval, and simultaneously submit a application to the IFSC authority for registration. Again, IFSC authority, after their due diligence and based on the documents submitted, shall issue the registration certificate for membership. Finally, once the membership registration is obtained, is the last process in terms of enablement of the trading system by fulfilling additional conditions in terms of net worth, infusion of funds, giving deposit collaterals, and so on. So then you can obtain the then you can be ready for trading at the exchange. So this is the broadly the membership process. Of course, in each of the steps, there might be a lot of documents, and as Sandip Shah had mentioned, that we will circulate a booklet of setting up the unit and obtaining membership. Along with that, we will give you all the details, and all this information is available at NSE IFSC website also under the membership tab, wherein all the forms that you require in terms of submitting the application for NOC as well as for membership registration enablement, all are available out there. So this is briefly the admission process, and we can get into the details in terms of and all those will be provided in the booklet that we will circulate. Next slide, please. So these are the key contact persons for membership as well as business development. They will help you through the entire process, whichever part you require help on. They will, and this will again, we will publish this information. This is more format. There are a few annexures that are there, but the PPT, the presentation shall be circulated so you can go through it. Thanks once again to ANMI and CPAI to give us opportunity to discuss on the membership process. Thank you, Sabharwal.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mr. Sandip Mehta, for the insight that how people can take up the membership. It will go in a long way. And now I request Mr. Nikhil Mehta, the Chief Regulatory Officer and Company Secretary of India International Exchange, IFSC Limited, the first exchange to start the operation. He is also associated with the exchange since November 2017. I will request him to please, Mr. Nikhil Mehta.
Thank you, Sabharwal ji. Can we have the PPT? Good evening, everyone. So basically, I'll just, till the time the PPT is on, I can just inform everyone that recently IFSCA last year had come up with a capital market intermediary regulations. Before that, all what was followed was through SEBI guidelines 2015 and the broker regulations which are there in the domestic exchanges. Now, since the IFSCA, the regulator, has come up with the capital market intermediary regulations, so all the all our questions and everything has been answered there. For some of the questions, if there is no there is some ambiguity or some more knowledge is required, so we can always refer the SEBI circulars, because there is a whole list of circulars which are there. So what IFSCA has done, they have kept the circulars alive, but the regulations have been overruled. So that is the one key takeaway. So if you see in domestic exchanges, like we have a net worth requirement. So in domestic exchanges, we have the LC Gupta format, but in the capital market intermediary regulations, that has been overcome. So that is more in the line of the Companies Act, like you have all the assets and minus the liabilities. So like in LC Gupta format, there are you cannot take the tangible assets like land, building, etc. But in this capital market intermediary regulations, they have done away with that. So that is one good way you can enhance your net worth, and you can proactively apply for that. With respect to Okay. So with respect to the SEBI NOC, which Sandip ji was also giving a reference, NOC is required from two aspects. One is from SEBI. This is required because in domestic exchanges, like SEBI felt that if you are going over here, so your operations should be ring fenced. So the NOC should not be only that should be routed through exchanges, but NOC has to be taken from all the recognized MIs. Like if you are a member of a clearing corporation, if you are a member of a depository, and if you are a member of exchange, so from all three MIs, you have to take the NOC and you have to route the application through exchanges. With respect to IFSCA, once that NOC process is over, the parent company can come and they can apply for NOC for the entity which is conceptualized to be get incorporated in GIFT IFSC. Once the NOC is given, so that with that help you can open a bank account, you can infuse funds and everything. This will be required at the this is the requirement of RBI as well. So that is the thing. Both the regulators has to give the NOC. So once the NOC is received, simultaneously, you can work on the SEZ approvals, and you can also work on the the other facilities which has to be there. Once that all is completed, you can come up with your membership application form. There are a simplified form has been designed by the regulator. So that along with some of the additional information which the exchange seeks, we make an application to IFSCA, and if everything is found completed in all aspects, then yes, we the registration is granted at a we had cases where registrations were given very early, as low as even in hours. So that is the thing. Apart from that, majorly everything was covered. And yes, in the domestic exchanges, how the same process has been followed here. If you take membership from one exchange, so from the other exchange, you just have to apply. There will be a common fees which you have to pay to the regulator. And with respect to the fee structure, IFSCA has come up with the regulation with a circular on fees which has been applicable. So that also you can refer with respect to the turnover fees and everything. IFSCA has given the comprehensive circular on that as well. So you can refer all that for your references. So I guess majorly, and the only concept which you will know when you will go through the capital market intermediary regulations, you will not come across words like trading members and this in GIFT IFSC. Now the new concept of broker dealer has come. It is nothing different, but they have just nomenclated it. The trading members has the broker dealers to be at par with international jargons which the other exchanges follow. So this was from my side. I can if we can hand it over to the next. If you want me to continue with the PPT, I can do that.
This much is sufficient. This much is sufficient. You have taken the total actual points which the member requires. Thanks a lot for that to you, Mr.
I will just brief you on this second PPT, if you second slide.
Please.
Required. Otherwise, okay. No, not the previous. Yeah. So this is that extract when you will refer the capital market intermediary regulations. So this is the chapter which is dedicated to all the intermediaries, and in that we have the entire write-up which says that you can apply an entity desirous of obtaining a certificate of registration as capital market intermediary shall submit an application form in the prescribed format. And in fact, you can also make if you already registered once, so as an intermediary, and you have some sort of net worth which you have to keep. So that also you can add on to the other registrations which you have to do, but the highest of the net worth you have to keep. So that all is there in the capital market intermediary regulations. With respect to second slide, this is the You can move to the other slide. So this is the same, just to, not confuse you, I've kept the same jargons, but when you will go through the capital market intermediate regulations, there you will come up with new words like broker dealers and that. So nothing different, it is just a new name. You can move to the next slide. If there are, entities which also want to, come through branch mode, so that facility is also available at exchanges. So for the branch mode, you don't have to, get incorporated in GIFT IFSC. But this is if we all are, SEBI regulated entities. So for us, this will not be applicable. But yes, somebody has, international arm. So through that also they can come and they can have this kind of a model. So whatever network requirement and everything has to be maintained at the parent level entity, and you can start the business. And with respect to the next slide, that is whole discussed in length, the entire process of be it the LOA approvals, be it the setting up of an IFSC unit company, and then the NOC process, and then the exchange membership process. So that has all been discussed.
You have to hurry up, Mr. Nikhil. What we'll do that
Yes,
this presentation
sir,
will take it from you.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
send to the member. You have
Correct,
to hurry
sir.
up.
It is majorly covered, sir.
Okay. Thanks a
Thank you,
lot,
sir.
Mr. Nikhil. Thanks a lot, Mr. Nikhil, for giving the insights about your exchange. And now I will request Mr. Maulik Kothari, Assistant Vice President, Product and Business, IIBX. He has more than 13 years of experience across the banking industry. And as you all are aware of, that Indian bullion market is one of the largest in the world, the second largest in terms of the consumption, and holds an important position globally. And the vision of the Prime Minister is also there that in bullion, we should become a price setter. I am sure that IIBX will help in that becoming the price setter. Over to you, Mr. Maulik Kothari.
Good evening to the distinguished guest and the speakers, and also the member participants present in the webinar. Thank you to both ANMI and CPAI for giving us this opportunity to present ourselves in front of the members. If I can have the presentation on screen, please. Yeah, welcome to IIBX. So this is something which has already been covered by the speakers of both GIFT and IFSC, but I'll just quickly run through this. GIFT, as we all know, is India's first IFSC set up under a Special Economic Zone Act 2005 and operationalized as a multi-services SEZ in 2015 April. Conceptualized as a global financial and IT services hub, a first of its kind in India. This is about IFSCA. IFSCA, we all know, the Honorable Chairman Sir did speak about it. It's a unified authority, which is for the development and regulation of financial products, services, and financial institutions. It's a unified regulator. This is the next slide, please. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, IFSCA has been established as a unified regulator under the IFSCA Act passed by the Parliament in 2019 with unific vision in order to promote ease of doing business in IFSC and provide world-class regulatory environment. The main objective of IFSCA is to develop a strong global connect and focus on the needs of Indian economy as well as to serve the international financial platform. Prior to the establishment of IFSCA, the domestic financial regulators were regulating the business in the GIFT IFSC. We move to the next slide. Now, pursuant to a memorandum of understanding between CDSL, India INX, MCX, NSDL, and NSE, the holding company. Now, this is how the entire setup is. The holding company has been set up and created, which is the India International Bullion Holding IFSC Limited, under which we have India International Bullion Exchange, the Clearing Corporation, and the Bullion Depository. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. We have the holding company, which is IIBH, India International Bullion Holding IFSC Limited. We are under IIBH, which is India International Bullion Exchange IFSC Limited. And then there is a depository, which is called the India International Bullion Depository IFSC Limited. As I said, we are governed by the provisions of IFSCA Act, which is the International Financial Services Authority Act 2019. We have a highly qualified board of professional directors, and we have a strong risk management policies, KYC and AML regulations. Our vision, next slide, please. Our vision is to become Asia's largest bullion trading hub. We are aimed to focus across the bullion ecosystem and have a state-of-the-art digital platform for global bullion trade with global robust data and risk management. Next slide. So this is what I was speaking about, the holding company under which IIBH, we have IIBX as the exchange and the clearing. Then we have the depository, which is IIDI. As members, you would come in below IIBX as trading members and clearing members or clearing members. Then you would have clients under you. This is the opportunity business potential that as members of IIBX you would have. Next slide. Now, what is the unique proposition for IIBX is we have the entire ecosystem present in GIFT IFSC to trade bullion at international level and settle in US dollars. So we all know gold and silver both are an international commodity quoted in US dollars, but in India, whenever we go to a jewelry shop, we have been told the price is say 55,000, 60,000 rupees, but nobody knows what is the basis of this price and where it has been derived from. So like in any cross currency, this is derived from both gold dollar or a silver dollar component and the dollar rupee component of it. We know the dollar rupee component very well across our authorized dealer banks and the exchange platforms, but nobody knows where the gold dollar or the silver dollar price derived from. We as a country has been looking up to hubs in London or New York, in commodity exchanges like COMEX in New York, or we have the London benchmark in London, to take a reference of the price there. And this is our endeavor to have this international price been quoted in India, because we, as been told previously, are the second largest consumers of this bullion all over the years. So why not have this price being quoted and taken into our own country and have the benchmarks to our own country? And this is what our endeavor is. The settlement, as we know, is in US dollars. We already have 3 vaulting facilities, world-class vaulting facilities in IFSC. We have SQL, we have Brings already operationalized. There is Malka Amit, who is in the process of getting the requisite approvals. This is something which is very unique to what we are doing in IFBX is to each bullion bars that would be deposited into the vault will have a one-to-one congruence with a BDR, bullion depository receipt. So every bar will have a unique ISIN. Every bar will have a unique BDR number being given to it. And each bar would have this congruence with the BDR that has been assigned to it. We have the best of the we aspire to be the nodal point for bullion trade, well-connected logistics and transportation through Brinks and SQL. We aspire to have an electronic trading platform around the clock. Currently in the phase 1, we have the trading platform available from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. This intermediation, this is IIBX would be an alternate channel. Till now, as Honorable Chairman Sir said, the bullion is already imported through a consignment model. Now, IIBX is offering an alternate channel to the jewelers, in India to directly import the metal through us. Democratic pricing is something which is very unique. Again, somebody coming onto IIBX for a small quantity, 1 kilo, or a bigger lot of say 100 kilos or whatever, would see the same price, democratic price, that would be across for all the users. Next slide, please. Yeah, so market participants, we would have members like you all, IFSC registered brokers. Now, the speakers of both NSE and India NX did mention the process to get, IFSC license to set up their establishments over here. I don't think so it would be any different for me to speak. You get the requisite NOCs from both the local Kanlaisis at authorities doing your documentation and things. You get the NOCs from the regulator IFSCA. You set up an establishment, you become an existing broker, IFSC registered broker, you become a member of IIBX through application through us. Other kind of memberships are the global bullion banks, refiners and dealers, and qualified jewelers. As what kind of clients can you cater to? On the sell side, there are refiners. Now somebody spoke about the NRIs. If you recollect, the GFT on 3rd of August through a notification did come out with specification that no taxation would be levied on bullion depository receipts. So this would have an opportunity for BDR, the bullion depository receipts, which will be traded on IIBX. Having liquidity, as you can tap the NRI and the PIO clients. As clients, you can have qualified jewelers under you being registered, and you can service them. Next slide, please. Now, I would leave this presentation for your benefit. These are some prescribed norms for qualified jewelers. You can bring to the notice of all qualified jeweler clients that gets onboarded with you. The norm says minimum net worth of 25 crores. The entity should be engaged in business of goods falling into certain ITS codes. 90% of average annual turnover in last 3 years should be in dealing in goods under precious metals and so on. Next slide, please. Now, how the entire business process flow, if I have a few minutes, I can just explain the entire business process flow works is an Indian jeweler has to first register itself as a qualified jeweler of IIBX. So it sends in the requisite forms as per the norms which I mentioned in the previous slide. We will scrutinize the application. Now we have the standard operating procedures been given by IFSCA on August 5th. I would request the members to have a look at it and circulate among others in the community. Once a qualified jeweler is been notified, as qualified jeweler of IIBX, he has 3 options. He can be a trading member, for which we'll have to set up an establishment inside GIFT IFSC. He can be a client of yours. He can be a client of a trading member, and you handhold the client into the entire operations of IIBX. The qualified jeweler can be a limited purpose trading member and have only buy side authorities to come on the exchange. Now, once he becomes a client of a trading member like yours, how do you handhold the qualified jeweler? So the qualified jeweler, wishes to have gold imported through us, would send in an email to exchange through his registered email address, whereby he says, I want X amount, X quantity of gold. We as an exchange would issue a AD bank letter, which would mention the quantity and purity of the gold being desired, reference to a last closing price or the last traded price that was there on the exchange, plus a 5% variance margin. The qualified jeweler would take this letter to his AD bank to facilitate the dollar remittance as an early pay. Now, in the current phase, I would just wanted to, educate the member that current phase, we have a T+0 contract whereby an early pay-in is mandatory for all the member participants to, come on the exchange. So both on the cash flow dollar side and on the BDR side, we need to have the early pay-in in place before you can transact on the exchange. The dollar then would come in. You would see the prices which is there on the exchange platform. You would trade on the exchange. The BDR bullion depository receipts gets credited into your demat depository account. Now, what we have to remember is, as per the circular of RBI on May 25th, 2002, this dollars which is you have taken as an early paying, you either utilize it to purchase the bullion depository receipt on IIBX, and the residual dollars unutilized balance.
Mr. Maulik, I am Sabharwal here.
Yes.
We will this your presentation we will circulate to the members.
Perfect.
Actually,
sure.
Our purpose today was less on the business side and how to come on board of the exchanges. That was more on that side. So
sure, I'll just quickly,
your presentation will.
Sure, sir. Sure. I would just quickly, run through the membership processes. Next slide, I think we can. I will leave the presentation as suggested.
Actually, we were due to finish it by 6 o'clock. Please finish it in 2 minutes.
Sure, sure. So these are the products. We can move to the next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. As again I've said, so this is something which the members would be interested in. This is the requisite fees deposit, the net worth that the members would have to deposit with the exchange. Now, this is under the grandfather clause of IFSCA. Now, on September 17th, 2021, IFSC had permitted the existing trading members and the clearing members in GIFT IFSC to act as bullion trading members and clearing members. So this is something which would be which you can make a note of. I think we can run to the rest of the slides. This is both on the business and the product side, which would leave the presentation for your benefit. Membership categories, again, is it the same that we have on other exchanges: a trading member, or a trading self-clearing member, trading clearing member, and a professional clearing members. Again, it's an opportunity for trading members to participate in the entire bullion ecosystem. Now, interesting thing is, as trading members yourself, you are allowed to do both a buy and a sell trade of the bullion depository receipts on the exchange platform. So that is something which is, unique proposition for you all. You can have a revenue generation through clients like qualified jewelers, the bullions, global bullion suppliers, and eligible foreign investors, the NRIs and PIOs can be tapped once they have the BDR investment products in place. So thank you from my side.
Thanks a lot. We had some questions also. Initially, I was thinking of putting it up with the permission of Dipesh Shahji. Sir, we will send the questions directly to the concerned people and will send those replies to the members. Of course, one question is that can we, in F&O of the American depository receipts, can we trade through GIFT City in the ADRs, F&O of the American exchange? This was one question, but what we'll do, that total question will compile and will send to all the honorable respective to the people. And now I request Mr. Shiv Goel ji, the past president of CPAI and managing director of the Bonanza Capital, to give the concluding remarks. Over to you, Mr. Shiv Goel.
Thank you, Sabharwal ji. It was a great webinar by ANMI and CPI. It is telling us the opportunities from the GIFT City and what are the lot of advantage which can happen to the members taking the membership at the GIFT City. Basically, what has been told, I think the chairperson, Indrajit Srinivas, he covered all the possibilities which are there. It is like a foreign territory. The people who want to set up offices in Dubai, Mauritius, or Singapore, they can set up their offices here and and do all those things which are much lower cost. And also there is no CTT, STT, GST, income tax. It makes a lot of business sense to do the things there. We have the facilities for the fund management, AIF, PMS, broking, trading in all international exchanges, listing of the ADR, GDR, bullion exchange, setting up, import of the gold. I think all opportunities, including listing of your bonds and shares, and also the debt for the MSME, SMEs. I mean, a lot of opportunities are coming. Another thing, it is a unified regulator, which we have understood, which takes care of all the things. So it is a great opportunity. You can get a one-shop window, and it was a great initiative on part of the chairman. And then we had the presentation from, we are grateful to Mr. Dipesh Shah. He informed about the opportunities there in the GIFT City. And we had presentation from INX and NSE, where we were told how to take the membership in both the exchanges. Then we had the presentation from the bullion exchange. Basically, it is a substitute for from the present system, whereby the gold is getting imported into the country on consignment basis to shift to the direct import by the qualified jewelers. It will save a lot of cost to the jewelers in India, as well as to the economy. I think also the complete process of becoming a member and import of the gold was explained to us. I think we had a fantastic presentation by all the participants. As a member, I can say a very golden opportunity exists. Another thing was told to us by Mr. Sandip Shah, the GIFT City, that we are getting this offices, which are the smart office spaces. So we need to take a larger space. We can start easily, which is another very good thing, initiative on part of the IFSC. And another major thing which I have learned, it is a regulator which is equally focused on development beside regulation. So the weightage on the development is much higher. So I think all of us must understand it will be facilitating us to do the business there, and they will be helping us. I see a great opportunity, and the members must use this facility to the maximum extent possible. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Shiv Goel. On behalf of ANMI, and I also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Narendra Wadhwa, who was there right from the beginning, our president of the CPAI. We are thankful, especially to Mr. Dipesh Shah, on whose initiation we kept this webinar. Just for your information, that in addition to the Zoom link, on the YouTube of the ANMI and CPI, there were about 140 participants were there, and that's what is that not only those about 97 and 98 out of those 150, but some other 40 other members were also there who may be our prospective members to become the member of the GIFT City. As told by me earlier, that we will be inviting you, the Dipesh Shahji and your team, for the 17th September session of the PhD chamber, where, as mentioned by the chairman, the people who are dealing with SMEs, those who are dealing with Forex, the end users, many of them will be there in that convention. So we'll look forward for the presence of you people in that convention also. Once again, thanks a lot to all the participants and all the speakers, and special thanks to Mr. Dipesh Shah. Mr. Wadhwa, will you like to add anything?
Thank you very much. It was well planned and well executed program. And as Kumarji has just mentioned, there's an ample opportunity in the GIFT City. So we must explore it. Onboarding process has been explained by the exchanges as well as Mr. Sandip Shah also. I think if members require any hand-holding, I think we are there to help you out with this. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Dipesh Shah, any final word from you, sir?
So thank you. I think the proactive approach taken by the CPAI and ANMI has been very instrumental in the way the ecosystem at the IFFC is emerging. We look forward to a continuing support and the same enthusiasm in taking forward the future webinar or the conferences where we hold with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks to the participants also. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Satish ji, namaskar.